Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Fuel community. My name is Wack. Today is August 7th, and we've got news about a new snapshot vote coming up, so stay tuned for that. It's an exciting one. We've got more discussion about ETH-only validators coming very soon, potentially. We're going to be talking about the deposit pool and a whole bunch of other things, so let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So we're going to start here with some really exciting news. I kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday, but we're going to go into it a little bit more detail today, and we're going to talk about it again tomorrow as well. So let's get started. So Samus here said, Langus, could we do a snapshot vote tomorrow? And Langus said, yes, we are good to go for a snapshot tomorrow. So this will be the first vote under the new system. It's just going to be on snapshot. It won't be on chain voting because there's nothing that we're changing, here. But this is really exciting. Like it's well, we can talk about it in a second. But yeah, here this morning then, so actually, Langus said it around midnight Eastern time overnight. So for him, tomorrow would actually be tonight Eastern time. So for the Americans, there's a chance that before you go to sleep tonight, there'll be a snapshot vote live. For the Euro Bros and people in Asia, it will be on Thursday morning, most likely that they'll see it, potentially later on in Thursday as well. But this is happening. Like we are actually going to vote with the tokenomics change. If you haven't set up your voting yet under the new system, definitely go and do that, because if you don't do that before the snapshot vote goes live, you won't actually be able to vote on this snapshot. Yeah, so it's actually happening. A couple of things to clarify about this. So Ramana here was talking about it, saying, oh wow, snapshot vote with the new voting power is coming soon. This is going to be great. So I asked him, because I hadn't seen the other post yet, saying which one, and Ramana replied by saying that this is for RPIP 49, but it's not the final decision. This is just the general direction. So let's have a look at what that actually means. So I showed you guys this, the vote thread, the vote text thread yesterday, but actually let's go and have a look at the vote text. We're gonna have a look at all of it now. So let's see what it says here. So as you all know, this is what we're going to be voting on, and here it says the tokenomics rework. So this vote is to ratify the core RPIP 49 tokenomics vote rework set. This includes the following RPIP. So this is 49, RPIP 49 is the main one, of course. That includes 42, 43, 44, 46, 47, 59 and 60, and then it tells you what all the different RPIPs are and what they do. And then there's a note that's saying that no RPIP 49 is an informational RPIP describing the set and does not need to be ratified in itself. So there are a few things that you have to remember though, right? It says several items in the set are to be considered flexible until ratified explicitly, rather than ratified alongside the tokenomics rework package as a whole. So these include the Saturn II surplus vote share strategy, vote eligible RPL targets, deposit strategy, penalty system, and when the Security Council should change node operator commission. So those are all things that we'll probably be going to vote at another point in the future, and I guess in the coming months, or maybe even in the period like leading up to Saturn II, for example, or around that kind of time. So we'll be coming to those later, but here each item is described in more detail in RPIP 49. Any other significant significant issues the development team identifies that impact their ability to deliver this upgrade may also require future votes. And then there's the rationale, saying the current structure has contributed significantly to dampening our Rocket Pool's growth, blah blah blah. We're changing it. You guys all know what the rationale for this is. And then the rework looks to separate out the roles in the system, and the outcome, if this vote goes ahead, is the PDAO asked the development team to begin implementation work on the RPIP 49 tokenomics rework set, leading to the Saturn protocol upgrades. The RPIPs contained in the set will be marked with the living status. The outstanding flexible items in the specifications will have one or more snapshot votes to ratify their final form. Once all of these items are resolved, the RPIPs will be set to final status. The outcome, if negative, the RPIP 49 tokenomics rework is set is not approved at this time. The authors suggest a new vote in approximately 1 month that will include all rework proposals, and there's context below that have formal RPIP specifications at that time, but this would be a new governance action. So then there's the one from Evan, and there is the one from 1KX. So this will how this works, and of course, those are the steps that will be taken. So right now, if this passes, then that's it. The 1KX proposal and Evan's proposals will be done, and the community won't be going ahead with those. But if this fails, then there'll be a new vote, and then that's what we'll have to have a look at. So there's some really interesting stuff here, and so far as I can see, Mike from 1KX and Evan have not actually provided their feedback, and that's as of today at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Samus pinged both Mike and Evan. Here you can see that you gave them last call, but neither of them have responded yet. But it seems quite straightforward with what the ask is, and hopefully in tomorrow's episode we'll actually be able to start talking about what the early voting is looking like. Now, I should make clear that, I will be voting in favor of RPIP 49. I think that this is the best way for Rocket Pool to grow, and it's something that I'm extremely excited about, and I think that it will be wonderful for the community, for stakers, for Ethereum as a whole, because it'll bring on more node operators that, people who aren't currently node operators. I think it's just a really, really wonderful set of changes, and I'm hugely in support of it. So just to let you know that, if you've delegated to me and you are not happy with RPIP 49, then today is the time for you to get away with that. But, and I guess you can override your vote as well. So that is something for you to keep in mind. But this is going to be really, really cool. I think there'll be Twitter posts and Reddit posts that will go out about this probably today or tomorrow, just to let the wider communities know that, there's stuff happening. Jasper was insinuating that he was going to write a tweet thread. I'll write a tweet thread, I'll write Reddit posts, so look out for those tomorrow as well. I'll cover those on Rocket Fuel for you to all learn about. Okay, so a couple of days ago we talked about ETH only validators, and I kind of shared Langers's opinion and talked about how Langers was kind of hesitant about it, and then Epinef had some interesting ideas as well that I was quite supportive of at the time. I said at the time as well that this is something that I'm still learning about. This is still something that my opinion is changing on, and I'm sure that it's going to change more in the coming days. Well, it seems like the ETH only validator crew have actually been doing some really cool stuff and coming up with some really cool ideas, and things are happening quite fast because now that the tokenomics rework stuff is reaching a much more mature stage, a lot of those gigabrains who are working on that are now spending time thinking about these issues, and so much so that Langers actually came back with some more feedback. So Langer said that, for me, it was too far without any commission sharing model. Essentially, let forward pricing save RPL wasn't okay with me. I agree that dynamic commission is a potential solution. You have already addressed some of my concerns around it, but would need to nail it down, making sure we have enough RETH yield to pay node operators, and can do that through backtesting. He says, and migration effects on Satin. He says there is significant technical security issues. The scrub penalty, Kane is having a quick look to see if there's an obvious solution, but I'm not sure there is an easy one at this stage. Without the scrub penalty, it opens the protocol up to significant ODAO gas DOS, highlighted by the Sigma Prime in one of their audits. This isn't a problem for Satin, but it is pre-Satin. In terms of timeline capacity, if we get to that stage, I would want to keep both Kane and Fornax on Satin, so it would have to be primarily done by Patches Ramana with support from Thomas. I'd like Fornax across it to do a code review, but not the primary work. So this was actually really encouraging feedback from Langers, saying that this might actually work if we do some changes. And then there was a bit of back and forth. Noshua was actually talking about the scrub check stuff and why might that be an issue, or how it might be an issue, and whether there's ways around it. So the idea is basically that someone could do actions that would cost them gas, I think 1.5 million gas, but then to fix that, the ODAO would have to pay 1.1 million gas. So if the person wanted to attack Rocket Pool, they'd have to spend a lot of gas of their own to make the ODAO spend gas of theirs. So it might not be that realistic a griefing attack, because the person would be spending so much of their own gas to do that. Of course, if I'm making mistakes in my technical understanding of this, please be aware of that. Like, read the discussion that I'm sharing on the screen. That you can follow the links below to get that. But there are already people starting to share ideas of how to fix this. Like here, Noshua says, yeah, I see the issue, but they're saying that there might be a way to send penalty transactions in a batch, but it's an ugly solution. It means we have to increase the max penalty, so the ODAO would have full penalty control with no guardrails. It would be good to implement a scrub penalty function on the Rocket network penalties that penalizes scrub specifically, but I'll have to chat with Kane tomorrow and see what he's thinking. But then there's some worries that would this lead to needing to make smart contract changes? How would that work? So like I said, this is an ongoing discussion, but the really cool thing is that there's progress happening, and I think that it might be progress that is satisfactory to all parties, including NodeSet. Here Popash says, I haven't been in this thread for a few days, can someone give me the TLDR? And he said, I love you for that. So Halulu actually did a really cool job here. He says the current idea is to have something called dynamic commission, which gives ETH only mini pools the equivalent of higher commission through the reward tree based on RPL stake. This helps to not completely eliminate the benefit of staking RPL in the interim, and still gives access to higher commission without switching between settings. So this would be important for Constellation. So they're addressing NodeSet's issues here. And it says this is also a version of it that even distributes part of these base commission through the rewards tree, which would enable us to reduce commission once Saturn is here, to give stronger incentives for migration. So I think this chart here that says what is the RPL collateral percentage, and then if you set the mini pool contract at 5% commission, and then you can do it through the reward tree where you can increase increase rewards based on that. So at 0 RPL collateral, you'll then be getting around 7.5% commission in total, with about half of that coming from the reward tree. But as you get more and more RPL, up to 10%, you get more a share of those rewards from the rewards tree as well. One of the things that Langus was saying that we'd have to make sure is that there's enough enough money in the smoothing pool to be able to pay for this. So the execution rewards would have to be enough, but it seems to be that that's enough. So here Papash says, so this means changing the settings, 5% commission, no minimum RPL or bond, and leveraging the rewards tree to distribute the additional commission. Would that commission be in ETH? Or do we have enough of our ETH share for it to work? And then Hululu says, yes, it would be in ETH. We need execution layer rewards to make up at least 10% of the total rewards to cover the worst case. I think was the math. Important to note that we're thinking to require smoothing pool participation to receive the dynamic commission. With the guarantee, the worst case should be that every single mini pool in the smoothing pool needs a bump from 5% to 14%, in which case we'd need to pull 6.75%, so 9% of 75% of their consensus rewards from 64.5%, so 100% minus 35.5% LEB 8 share of the smoothie balance. So there's math going into this, there's research going into this, people are actually spending time really thinking about this. One of the things that's really cool is that the team is involved in this discussion, as actually putting aside resources for this, which is absolutely wonderful to see. There's a whole lot of yellow names in here, so the rocket scientists are getting involved. Halulu, who should be a rocket scientist, Noshua, who should be a rocket scientist, these people are really putting forward their brain power trying to figure this out. Here, Noshua earlier said that he sees the issue, but now he's already starting to think of potential solutions of how this might work. And this is where they're trying to figure out the gas optimization stuff. But this is something that's looking more and more likely. And I think it looks like there's ways that, the community is gaming out what it might look like to keep the Legos in place, the Legos being NodeSet and Rocket Lend, and then also helping at the protocol itself. So there's some really, really interesting stuff going on here. I'm not going to pretend that I understand all of it. I really do need to spend a lot more time exploring these ideas and like digesting them. But I think from the understanding I have is this is looking like, it might be something that happens. And the great thing about this is that, if it works well, it could be happening within the next few weeks, maybe 2 or 3 months. So we don't have to wait for audits from Rocketland. We don't have to wait for audits from NodeSet. One of the things that Noshua actually pointed out to me yesterday was that, I was giving a timeline on Rocket Fuel about NodeSet's audits and when they might be done, and, this idea that it might be ready by October. Well, NodeSet in their announcement actually said that there was 2 audits happening, and I only actually based my timeline on one of those. So it looks like, that would add at least another month potentially. So the earliest we could probably get NodeSet's constellation going live is the end of October, maybe even into November. So that's when Lido CSM is going live as well. So there's I think it's reaching the point where we have to pay consideration to what's happening with the Legos, but if we can keep those, that would be absolutely amazing, of course. And I think that my stance is that I really want the Legos to be successful. But if we can do things at the protocol level without impacting the Legos, then that should definitely be pursued, like I said in the episode either yesterday or the day before. And it looks like people are making some really, really good gains in this way of thinking. So I'm super happy about that. So I'll definitely keep you all up to date with what's going on with this. Yeah. Okay, we actually hit a pretty disappointing target, which is that the deposit pool currently has 30,000 ETH in there, and this is actually really disappointing because, first of all, it's a drag on the ETH's APR. Secondly, people can't use the deposit pool to mint ETH. You have to buy it on the secondary market. Another thing is that, there's a premium on the secondary market for ETH, and that is not, we can't use Rocket Arb to arb that right now. The way that we fix this is basically someone coming and burning a whole lot of our ETH. But there's no need for them to do that because they could just sell it on the secondary market for a premium. Another thing is we need a lot of mini pools to come online to get this back under 18,000. And that sadly, we're waiting to see that with that big stake yesterday that might bring online, potentially a couple of 100 validators, I think, or maybe 100 validators. I'm not sure exactly how many, but that would be a good start to getting some of this, ETH eaten away. It's really funny that the last few days, people in the Rocket Pool community have been talking about dreaming about crypto and Rocket Pool. I think it's just anxiety and all the thinking that's going on in the community right now. I dreamed about Rocket Pool a few days ago and crypto a few days ago, and then Sneaky Ninja guy was talking about it, and here Ramana, he was saying that Marco is going to LEB8s, and we're like, wait, what's going on? What's happening? Where did you see this? And Nosh was like, wait, what? And Ramana said, I thought it was in the events, but it hasn't happened, isn't confirmed. And I said, I looked in the events, I didn't see anything. And I said, that sentence is great. And he says, I might have just dreamt this, sorry. So it seems like, Ramana is having dreams about the deposit pool size. So I hope he's okay. But I think there's many such cases in the community right now. So I hope you're all doing okay with dreaming about Rocket Pool. Anyway, moving on from Rocket Pool, we've got some Ethereum news here, and this is about the ETFs. And here we have Phoenix breaking news that the SEC, BlackRock has filed a spot Ethereum ETF with options. So it says notice of filing proposed rule change to list and trade options on the iShares Ethereum Trust. So they want there to be an amendment basically, and this is actually really interesting to see. But this is one of the things that we were really expecting to happen with Bitcoin, to happen with Ethereum, with the ETH ETFs, but we don't have it yet. James Seyfarth, who's one of the Bloomberg boys, says that Nasdaq and BlackRock's filing to add options on Ethereum ETFs has hit the SEC site. Final SEC decision on this form from SEC is likely to be around April 9th, 2025. So of course, they have 9 months to run that. And it says the SEC is not the only decision maker on adding options here, also needs sign-offs to the OCC and the CFTC. So this is going to be a collaborative thing. Now, just like with the Solana ETFs that were, submitted by Van Eck and ARK, I think a few weeks ago, I think those ones are a lot more dependent on potential regime change in the elections. With Trump winning the election, I think it makes those more likely. With these ones, I think it might be a similar situation where the SEC, if it's a Democrat, if it's Gary Gensler basically, then it might make it a little bit more likely for the Democrats to reject it. Now I don't know what the grounds for that rejection would be, but that's the situation. Now if we have a look at Farside, actually, for yesterday, the Ethereum ETF actually had another strong day of inflows. It had $100 million of inflows basically, so the total net outflows now are 364 million. What's really interesting is the Bitcoin actually had outflows yesterday again, so it looks like people are leaving the Bitcoin ETF and repositioning into the Ethereum ETF. Now we won't get full information on that until we start seeing quarterly reports coming out from companies if they're buying ETH, or I guess or we'll just have anecdotal evidence from people who are doing this. But it looks like, with the ETH ETFs being positive flow and the BTC ETFs being negative flow, there might be something to that. Another really interesting thing to see is that Grayscale actually losing less and less of their ETH every day, and they're hitting new lows with their ETH lost, and that's been going on since July 26th, where every day, well, not actually from July 31st, with the amounts getting smaller and smaller every day. Now that's not to say that you won't have big outflows days still to come, but it's something definitely worth thinking about. But on that note, I am going to end today's episode. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.